first glance, it might seem like aging past 80 is just a matter of genetics, or perhaps sheer luck. We look at those who remain vibrant in their later years and assume they were just born with it. But the deeper truth is this: longevity is not an accident. Nor is it simply about eating well or avoiding cigarettes. In fact, many people who did everything right, who exercise, ate their greens, and never touch a harmful substance, still fade dramatically after 80. Why? Because what truly governs your vitality in the final chapters of life are the subtle things, the habits and patterns we overlook, the quiet shifts we ignore, and the emotional weight we fail to release. This message today is not meant to scare you. It is a wake-up call, a reminder that how you age, how deeply you live, especially after 80, is still within your hands. So, let us uncover the 5 unexpected reasons that quietly shorten life, and, more importantly, how to guard against them. Let us begin. 1. The disappearance of microsocial engagement. Loneliness is not always loud. Sometimes it creeps in silently. Not when your loved ones move away, but when your daily life loses its rhythm of small human contact. This is what scientists now call microsocial engagement. It refers to the brief, spontaneous interactions that used to pepper your day without you even realizing it. A warm greeting to the cashier, a joke with a neighbor, a nod to the mailman. You may not think these moments matter, but your brain does. Your nervous system does. These tiny exchanges regulate your mood, keep your brain socially attuned, and help you feel connected to the living world. But what happens after 80? You stop going to the store, you order online instead. You avoid walking outside because your knees ache. You stop initiating conversations because your hearing is slower, your response is slower, and you feel people don't have the patience anymore. Without realizing it, you begin to disappear, not physically, but socially, emotionally, spiritually. I've known elders who remained sharp not because of any miracle drug, but because they maintained these small rituals. A daily walk to the cafe, a wave to the boy riding his bike, a morning nod to the street sweeper. These were their anchors. And when those anchors disappear, so does vitality. Remember this. Even the smallest human connection tells your brain you are still here, still part of this world. That message is one of the most powerful medicines for staying alive, not just in age, but in spirit. 2. Overcautious inactivity that slowly steals strength. There's a noble caution that comes with aging. You've earned it. After all, the body is no longer as resilient as it once was. But there's a fine line between being careful and becoming so cautious that you begin to vanish from your own life. It starts small, a little slip on the stairs and you decide not to go walking anymore. Your balance feels off, so you stop reaching for the top shelf. You sit more, you avoid, you protect. But here's the truth. You don't become weak and then stop moving. You stop moving and then become weak. The human body is not a machine that improves with rest. It is a garden. It must be worked, watered, stretched and challenged. Without movement, even the core muscles that help you stand and walk begin to fade fast. I once met a man named Walter, 82. One rainy evening, he slipped. No injuries, just a scare. But that moment changed everything. He stopped his evening walks. In just 6 months, he lost 10 pounds of muscle. His legs weakened, his posture sagged, his independence shrank, not because of age, but because of fear. You see, caution becomes a cage, when it keeps you from living. So ask yourself, am I protecting myself or am I slowly disappearing? Use a cane if needed. Clear your home of tripping hazards. But never surrender your right to move, because movement is how your body remembers it is still needed. And what is still needed, the body will fight to preserve. 3. Disrupted sleep rhythms from artificial letting. As you age, your body's natural rhythm, your circadian clock, becomes increasingly fragile. This inner clock tells your body when to rise, when to rest, when to heal, and when to grow. But after 80, it becomes more sensitive to subtle shifts in your environment. And the biggest disruptor? Lack of light by day and too much light by night. Think of this. When was the last time you stood in the morning sun for 10 minutes? When did you last turn off all screens an hour before bed? Most elders unknowingly sabotage their sleep by staying indoors too much during the day. Curtains closed, fluorescent lights on, television glowing late into the night. The result? The body no longer knows if it's day or night. You feel groggy in the morning, tired at noon, awake at 3 a.m. Your brain fogs, your mood dips, your immune system weakens. But here's the good news. This can be reversed. I once spoke to Helen, 84. Her memory was slipping, her energy low. Her doctor gave her no medication. Just a simple instruction. Sit near your window each morning for 20 minutes. Turn off your screens at 9 p.m. 2 weeks later, her sleep returned, her clarity returned, her smile returned. Light is medicine, and routine is the prescription. Open your curtains. Walk outside. Let the sun kiss your skin. In the evening, dim the lights. Let your body remember its natural rhythm, because what your body needs now more than ever is a rhythm, a pattern it can trust. That is what keeps the clock ticking strong. 4. Emotional suppression from years of silent grief. By the time you reach your 80s, you have likely known loss more deeply than most. A friend, a sibling, a partner, perhaps even a child. And over time, we are taught to carry this pain quietly. Be strong, they say. You should be used to this by now. But grief that is unspoken becomes illness. It settles into the body. It becomes shallow breath, tight muscles, restlessly sleep, low immunity. It becomes forgetfulness. It becomes sadness that has no name. You may appear calm, smiling even, but if you've stopped laughing freely, if your shoulders feel heavier, if your fire feels dimmer, it may not be age. It may be the weight of all that has not yet been released. I remember George, 86. He lost his wife of 60 years. He didn't cry. Said he was fine, but within a year he stopped going out. Lost weight, lost spark. Not because he was old, but because his heart had closed without mourning. Longevity is not just about medicine. It's about emotional ventilation. The soul needs space to breathe. So whether it's a friend, a therapist, a journal, or a silent prayer, let your grief speak. Not because you're weak, but because you are still alive. And to live, the heart must stay open. 5. The gradual loss of daily purpose. The final and perhaps most quiet killer of vitality is the loss of purpose. Not grand, noble purpose, but simple, daily purpose. A reason to get out of bed, a task, a routine, a person who expects you, a plant to water, a child to wave to, a soup to prepare, a note to write. Without these anchors, the days blur, appetite fades, movement slows, the body loses interest in repair, not because it is failing, but because it no longer feels needed. I once met a woman named Ruth, 88. She had few possessions, no children. Her health was imperfect, but her soul radiated. Every Monday she wrote letters to homebound churchgoers. Every Thursday she made soup for a shelter. Every day she watched the neighborhood kids walk home and waved. She wasn't trying to be important. She was simply present, and that presence gave her body a reason to keep going. Because your body listens to your spirit. When the spirit feels forgotten, the body dims. But when your spirit wakes up with purpose, so does everything else. So if your days feel empty, shape them again. It's never too late. Create a ritual, build a rhythm, give your soul something to touch each day. Because your presence still matters. You still have time. Most people don't fade after 80 because of a disease, or a moment, or bad luck. They fade because of slow erosion, of movement, of connection, of light, of feeling, of meaning. But just as life fades slowly, it can return slowly. One walk outside, one small conversation, one stretch, one ritual, one act of expression. These small choices are not just survival, they are sacred. They are how you remember yourself alive. So now, I ask you, which one of these 5 reasons felt uncomfortably true? Which one can you gently begin to reverse today? You are not powerless. You are not too late. If you can restore rhythm to your day, connection to your heart, light to your morning, movement to your body, and meaning to your moments, then you won't just live past 80. You will thrive beyond it, fully, deeply, and on your terms. Thank you for being here. If this message reached you, I ask you to leave a comment below, share your story, your intention, or simply the word alive, because that is what you still are, and that is what you can still become.